flagged because they're the ones you didn't want to take a guess at. And that's
Yeah.
fair enough. And it's one of the best tips I can give anyone actually taking a theory test. When you're doing the apps, try not to guess anything. If you guess
Yeah.
questions, what happens is you don't really know if you got the answer correct, you see.
Yeah.
And then over a period of time, you could be guessing questions all the time and you'll never really make much progress then. So if you've been doing that before, that's probably one of the reasons why you were having a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So you did the right thing by flagging, okay?
Hmm.
So let's send the test in. And the ones that come up in red are the ones you've flagged or the ones that you've had trouble with, okay?
Okay.
So that's on this level of test, that's a very good result. I know it doesn't look
Hmm.
good because it's red on it, but guess what? They're questions that you may have got wrong on the actual test. So if we can get these sorted, that's going to improve your probability of passing the test for real.
Yeah.
So if you want to take any notes or anything or do anything
Yeah.
like that, you're quite welcome just in case the recording doesn't work for you.
Hmm.
Because these are definitely ones that you want to make sure you know going into your
Yeah.
theory test.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at number 4 then. Now, a triangular sign is always a warning sign. So basically, all you got to remember is whatever's inside it is going to be a warning of what's up ahead. The fact
Yeah.
that that's all they want to know, that you know that what's inside that is a warning of what's up ahead.
Hmm.
And of course, the only thing that's a warning of what's up ahead there is a narrow road because the rest of these things are actually orders. Ahead only is an order, keep
Yeah.
left's an order, minimum speed's an order. So orders would always be in a circular shape.
Yeah.
And here's a wee tip for you. O means no.
Okay.
You see? And O means no. That's how you remember that.
Yeah.
So those 3 were no's. The other one was advanced warning of something. Question 9. What is the main cause of skidding? Well, we can tie this one up in a whole pile of knots, actually. We could say snow, ice, rain, bad road surface, but ultimately it's always the driver that gets the blame because guess what? If it's snow, you shouldn't be driving.
Yeah.
And if you're driving too fast, you're going to have problems. And of course, the mechanical ability of the car, if you haven't kept your tires good, I'm afraid that's a driver's fault also, and so on. So that's why it's always in the event skidding is always basically blamed on the driver. Seems a bit
Yeah.
unfair, but I'm sure there's occasions when it's not the driver's fault. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
these people here, we don't see them much here, of course, but this test allows you to drive in the UK mainland and everywhere. So they're really only for directional purposes. They're not really
Yeah.
for anything
And
else.
you got that one wrong anyway since I had it.
Yeah, it probably won't come up in your test, actually. That'll be taken
Yeah.
out for the Northern Ireland one, but you never know. When must you stop your vehicle? Well, look, we know that if you've done the right thing here, you've answered this question, and it's a good answer. But there's a couple of things you would come unstuck with on a driving test. You don't always stop at a give way line.
Yeah.
But you know that you don't always stop at a give way line. If
Hmm.
you've been taking driving lessons, then your instructor will give you advice on that. But it's a white line, a solid white line, is a stop line.
Yeah.
That's the only time you stop a car to take proper observations. A give way line, you actually keep moving
Yeah.
if it's safe to do so.
Yeah.
But guess what? 100% of the time, if you're involved in any damage to another vehicle or a property, you need to stop the car. That's a legal requirement, and
Yeah.
give your details to someone there. If not, you must go straight to a police station actually, or within 24 hours to give that report in. If not, it can be a criminal charge, and actually, it's quite a heavy one, believe it or not.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. Even if you clip someone's car or gate or something to their house, you must report that to a police station within 24 hours or to anyone at the scene.
Yeah.
Happy days. 17, when should you use the left-hand lane on a motorway? Well, the overtaking on the left is never a good thing, usually, unless you're traveling in a queue of traffic, which is different.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got a queue of traffic on both lanes and your traffic in the left lane is moving quicker than the traffic in the right lane, well, that's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
So you're allowed to overtake on the left in that situation. Then there's a few other situations that occurs, but what they've asked you is about a motorway.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to overtake, really.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
on the left-hand side. But there is a couple of occasions when you come, but it said when the road is clear, road ahead is clear. What they're saying to you now is the correct question they're asking. They're trying to find out is when you go on to the motorway and it's clear and there's nobody on either of the lanes, left, right, or whatever. Maybe it's 3 lanes and there's nobody on the motorway at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, you go straight to the left lane. That's where you always belong. That's what this question was trying to find out. I just explained to you why the answer that you gave was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So no problem. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's that question? Though? It comes up a lot when they say you join a motorway, and what lane would you go into if you're doing 70 miles an hour? And you know, everyone goes to say I'll be in the right lane, the fast lane. Well, there
Yeah.
is not such a thing as a fast lane on the motorway. It doesn't
Right, okay.
exist. There's
Yeah.
actually the left lane for normal driving and the right lane for overtaking.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all. Just clear that up in your mind, first of all. And that's important, that information, because there's normally a question comes up on lane changing on motorways. You should be in the left-hand lane unless you're overtaken. That's the bottom
Yeah.
line.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, you got these ones. You've done well with these. I saw it earlier, but this is the confusing part. What's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan on a dual carriageway? Well, what's the legal speed limit for a car on a dual carriageway? Up
I
in
thought
the
it was,
D here.
yeah.
What's the legal speed limit for a car just on its own?
I always forget whether it's 70 or it's 60.
Well, it's always 70 because I'll tell you how you know it's the same as a motorway. They're both
Right,
the
okay.
same. They
Yeah.
don't change. They're both
Yeah.
the same. And then an ordinary road, I call it is ordinary, for ordinary road, like a back road is 60, right? That's for
Yeah.
normal driving, right? But
Yeah.
guess what you do? Take 10 off when you towing a trailer.
Okay.
So you only need to remember these 3 numbers. Well, only 2 numbers actually, because motorway and dual carriage is the same.
Yeah.
70 on the motorway dual carriageway, 60 on an ordinary road. And then guess what? Take 10 off if you're towing a trailer.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy days. Okay, I better get rid of that. Hold on. That's it. Okay, 22. Now, this one people get confused a lot about because of the words they use. They use this word contraflow.
Yeah.
You'll get confused with this. You'll see contraflow with flow a lot on these signs. Here's the good
Mhm.
news for you. Very easy way to know which is which. Contraflow has got arrows in it.
Okay.
That's it. A with flow hasn't. A with flow hasn't. And they're only found in one-way streets, these signs, you know, this
Oh, right,
contraflow
okay.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you only find it in a one-way street
Mhm.
because traffic's not allowed to come towards you normally. But what they do is for buses, for example, in cities. You know, cities have buses and they can go anywhere they want. So what they do is they have to make a lane for them.
Yeah.
And because you're not expecting to see a bus coming towards you in a one-way street, they have to put a sign up to warn you about that. So
Yeah.
the 2 things to remember is you'll only find the contraflow on a one-way street. And if you see arrows in it and they're asking you what kind of sign it is, look for the word contra.
Yeah.
Arrows and contra go together. That's a wee quick way of telling.
Okay.
36. Look, when you have a bicycle and you do too many wheelies, right, and you jump off a curb and you buckle the wheel,
Yeah.
you know what happens, don't you?
Mhm.
It shakes from side to
It's
side.
just, yeah. Yeah.
Well, a car's no different. If you bounce it off too many potholes and curbs, it will make it vibrate when you drive at high speeds in particular.
Yeah.
That's it. The pulling to one side is normally relative to a puncture or
Yeah.
faulty brakes or something like that. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, if I was my vehicle gets fire, I'll tell you, I wouldn't necessarily drive it out of a tunnel. I'd park it up and leg it. But
Yes, that's where I got confused then.
well, this is it. Well,
Yeah.
what they're saying here is, say you were driving in a tunnel and smoke started to come out of your engine and stuff. Well, tunnels are a dangerous place, right, to go on fire because the fire will basically consume everybody in the tunnel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is, if you can drive out, they're not expecting you to drive your car out if you're on fire, but
Yeah,
they just use the words fire here. If it catches fire, you're better to try to get it out of the tunnel if you can.
yeah,
But
yeah.
obviously that will depend on a lot of things.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't see anybody doing that. I see most people stopping the car and getting out and running.
Yeah,
Anyway, what color follows the green? You get caught with this one,
yeah.
because when the only time you see flashing amber, and this will cut to the chase with all your traffic lights, you never see flashing amber except on one crossing. It's a pelican.
Hmm.
So they can ask you about puffin crossings, zebra crossings, toucan crossings. They could ask you about crossings that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
You'll never see a flashing amber light on any other crossing but a pelican crossing.
Okay. Yeah.
And on the way up with lights, it's always green on its own, amber on its own, then red on its own. It's always the same on the way up. It's only changes on the way down. It changes on the way down because sometimes you'll get that flashing amber light, the pelican light.
Yeah.
It only
Because I'd
changes
looked
on,
at that. Yeah, I'd looked
it
at that
only changes on the
news
way
number,
down.
but yeah.
Yeah. Never changes on the way up. It's always the same: green, amber, red.
Yeah.
Already. That should help because that covers about 5 questions that people always get wrong.
Yeah.
Remember that. What light does not show to a driver at a toucan crossing? It's a flashing amber. What light does not show to a driver at a puffin crossing? It's a flashing amber.
Yeah.
You see, because the flashing amber you will only see at a pelican crossing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'll try and catch you with that one a lot. It's an easy one
Yeah.
for them to catch people with. When should your tire pressures be checked? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go out somewhere for a bit of a drive, you should always check them. So you're not wrong about after a lengthy journey, but you should check it before a lengthy journey would be a better answer if you were going to go for that one. But the reason why they've said cold is quite simply this: rubber tires, they expand with heat. So
Yeah.
if you read them, take a reading from them after a long journey, they're too warm and it'll give you a wrong reading because they'll have expanded too much. It's like modern cars' tire pressure gauges put a light up on the dashboard a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And people think there's losing air or there's a problem with the tire, but it's actually probably you'll find it's got very cold or it's actually got very warm. So
Yeah.
if you're checking, anything to do with tires, you want to be checking them when they're cold and you haven't
Yeah.
started for that reason.
Hmm.
All right, that's a
Yeah.
mechanical question. People get
Yeah.
that one. People get that one wrong a lot. Okay, so with this one, when may you overtake another vehicle on the left? You never can overtake a vehicle on the left normally, except under certain circumstances. One we talked about already, which was the queues of traffic.
Yeah.
That's allowed. And then a one-way street, because
Okay.
traffic's only going one way. And guess what? The left lane's for traffic going left and the right lane's for traffic going right. So guess what? You can overtake on either side of those roads.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If you get this, all right.
Yeah.
Look, that's good for you today to get these questions into your head at this point because they're hard questions and they're all ones that people have a tendency to get wrong a lot. So don't worry about that. Just try to remember what we talked about and I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I'll actually stop this now recording and then I'll send that to you whenever it comes through. I'll send it to your email address.
Yeah. That's perfect.
And you can always, you can always have a look at that later on.
Yeah.